See, first, an individual has to step away from the crowd, and he has to step away from the false comfort of the ideologies that he's clinging to. See, religion, I've always said this, religion nowadays, it only has a cultural value. It can be the greatest of religion that has been passed on from thousands of years. Its relevance now is not to liberate an individual, it is only to keep him in a way entertained. It has become that way. Although I really want religion to be the answer to an individual's quest, religion is no longer performing that role. It is too superficial, and it is all shine and glitter with no content. It is almost become like religion is a blanket now. It is nice and cozy to sleep in it, but it is not useful if you decide to be awake. And if you decide to carry that blanket wherever you go, even in your wakeful state, you will look stupid. And that is what is happening. People want to be in the comforts of their religion. They want to be in that cozy blanket. They don't want to come out of it. In fact, there is a story. Neil Armstrong, before going to moon, he goes to church. He meets the father and he says, "Father, I'm going to the moon. I need your blessings." And the father says, "Wow, you're going to the moon?" It's like, "Of course, you have my blessings." And Neil Armstrong starts to walk away, and the father remembers something. He calls him and says, "Son, don't forget your blanket, it's cold up there." That has been the way of the religion. They'll tell you, go wherever you want, just carry our blanket, and make sure that blanket has our brand name, it has our logo. So you inquire the deepest depths of life, but you inquire as a Christian. You inquire, you travel wherever you want to travel, but inquire as a Hindu, inquire as a Muslim. See, that very condition stops an individual from inquiring fully. Because the moment you accept that you're this or that, then where is the possibility of seeking? The ultimate seeking happens from the state of not knowing, not from a state of knowing, not from a state of already possessing an ideology. So how can an individual begin this journey? An individual can begin this journey if he is willing to carry two things with him at all times: a book and a sword. He has to carry a book that's going to guide him on the path, so he needs knowledge. So he has to be in the constant quest to acquire knowledge, whatever that knowledge might be, without making any distinction between whether that knowledge is beneficial to him or not, just pure objective knowledge. That is represented by the book. Then he has to carry a sword to chop away everything that is binding him. He has to cut himself free from all the creepers that are sucking his life. He has to remain alone as an individual. His religion requires his support, otherwise it cannot exist in its life. His ideologies require his support. Only an individual can nourish all these systems. These systems cannot nourish an individual. We have totally forgotten that it is an individual who has created the religion. It is an individual who has created a family. It is an individual who has created the society, not the other way around. See, the moment we forget that the purpose of everything that we are doing is that one single questioning soul, the moment we forget that, we have killed him, and we have killed all his possibilities. That is why some of the greatest of oppressions in the world is happening in the name of religion. Because religion has completely forgotten the individual. It has forgotten that it is serving that one single individual. Chopping off all these unwanted creepers that are climbing on that pure, simple tree of life will help you to stay as an individual. By staying as an individual and then questioning and seeking, then the whole universe opens up. And again, no individual possesses the answer for your questions. I'll go one step further and say, even an enlightened person, he is not the answer to your questions. He is only a guide or an inspiration. He is not the destination. He is simply that light that illuminates the path just enough so that you can walk in the darkness. Just a signpost. But the search for spirituality, search for who you are, is 100% yours and yours alone. That is why only in this individual quest can there be no subjugation. There can be no possibility of brainwashing if you are seeking for yourself. If you have decided to remain blind and simply follow somebody, then there is a possibility of your brain being washed. But as long as you're seeking and questioning, then if you're able to find some individuals who have walked a little ahead of you, and if they're willing to guide you, then that's the most beautiful thing. See, in a way, we are all in a great friendship with life. Nobody is a master, nobody is a student, nobody is a disciple, nobody is a teacher. Seekers of spirituality have to come together as friends who are willing to exchange these ideas so that they all can grow together. Without authority, without philosophies, without rules and codes, just allow the individual, allow the flower to bloom. It is in the very nature of the flower to bloom. Just make sure that you provide the right conditions, make sure you clear out the weeds. Before even you plant the seed of spirituality, make sure that the ground is fertile. As of now, there are too many things growing in the mind of man. Too many ideologies, too many ambitions, too many desires. And he's mixed up his individual search with everything else. Where you are, you have to travel. Whether you want it or not, you will travel. Now, whether you travel more and more into the world and simply be lost and swept away in the world, or whether you will travel within you and find the answer to all your questions, it all depends on you. And it all depends on how you use this language of spirituality. It's very important. Language is the bridge. The only reason even this conversation is possible, I'm able to share what I have found within me, it's only because we both are making sounds that are similar. We have recognized these sounds. Otherwise, my teaching is not very different from the call of these birds. It is simply nonsensical. And for the one who wants to understand, it will make all the difference. And for the one who doesn't want to understand, it will simply sound idiotic. It is just another concept, an idea. So wherever you go, you will be confronted with this question of picking and choosing between different ideologies, different concepts. Now, how you use this language, how do you internalize this language?